Here is the Kia Forte. Let's go ahead and get started. Open up the driver's side door. Now right over there is a primary hood release lever. Pull it. Now in front of the vehicle, right about the Kia emblem, right about that A, put one finger in there and then push it left. And while you're pushing it left, lift up the hood. See, this is the secondary latch that I was pushing left on. There it is. Now this hood requires a prop rod to stay in place, so grab the rod, put it right over there in the slot with the arrow marking it, let it go. So we will talk about all the different fluids, the windshield washer fluid, the engine oil, the engine coolant, the brake fluid, why there's no transmission dipstick, and why there's no power steering fluid at all in this car. Let's get started with the brake fluid. That's the reservoir. To get an idea of the fluid level in it, look at the side. There are two markings, max up there and min right over there. And the fluid level should be between maximum and minimum. If you cannot see it clearly, try wiggling the reservoir a little bit and you'll see the fluid inside slosh, and that'll give you the idea of the fluid level. Or if you can't see it from that side, try looking at it from this side if you have better view and better lighting from this side. As you can see, the fluid level is just below max, and that's good. You do not have to open the cap to check the fluid level.
Now the way the brake system works is you got three main components to it. You got the brake pedal, you got the brake fluid, and then you got the actual brakes. The only thing that connects your brake pedal to the brakes is the brake fluid. So obviously it's very important. Now if you want to make sure that it's in good condition and that there is enough of brake fluid. The problem with brake fluid is that it's hygroscopic, meaning it just loves moisture. The moment you expose brake fluid to the atmosphere, it's just going to absorb all the moisture out of the air. And that's the problem, because you do not want brake fluid and moisture to be mixed together, because that makes it unpredictable. And when that does happen, your brake pedal now starts feeling spongy and mushy, and the car takes longer distances to stop, so that's not good. If it does happen that you left the cap off for more than 15-20 minutes, what I strongly suggest you do is you take your car to a mechanic. They have a device that can measure the moisture content in the brake fluid, and they can tell you if you're okay or if you need to get your brake fluid flushed out. And if you do need to get it flushed out, that's one place you do not want to cheap out on. So definitely just get it done if you have to get it done. It is what it is. The brake system is sealed off, right? So it doesn't really consume brake fluid on a daily basis. So it's not like you have to top it off every now and then. The reason why you may notice a change in the brake fluid level though is that one, either there is a leak in your system which is serious and you definitely want to get that checked out, or two, your brake pads are worn down. So what happens is when you get new brake pads, they're thick. Over time though, they get worn down and they get thinner. And now in order to compensate for the thinner pads, the worn down pads, the brake system takes some of the fluid out of the reservoir and into the actual brake lines. So that may cause the level to go down in the reservoir. All right? So those are the two reasons, and if you do have to top it off, I'll show you how to do it.
Let's see what it says on the cap. Use only .3 or 4 brake fluid from a sealed container. And that's what it should say on the container as well, .3 or .4. To add fluid, just grab that cap and twist it left a little bit. Sometimes the cap can be stuck on there hard, so be patient with it. But you just have to twist it left a little bit, and that's it. Now it's undone. Add the fluid over there. When you're done, put the cap back on right away and then twist it right to lock it, and that's about it. Now right over there is where the windshield washer fluid goes. It even says it on it, washer only. You flip that cap open and that's where the fluid goes. Now if you want, you could put water in there, but I would suggest putting windshield washer fluid even in the summer months because it has detergents in it that just helps clean the windshield better. In the winter though, if you live in a place where the temperature goes below freezing, do not put water, because as water freezes, as it becomes ice, it's going to expand and that's going to cause all sorts of issues. You don't want it. So put the proper type of windshield washer fluid. Like this one is good till minus 45 degrees Celsius. And remember that there's chemicals in it, so do not let children near it. And that is also the reason why these bottles tend to have a safety cap on them. You either have to push it down and twist it left, or like this one, squeeze it from the side and then twist it left to open it. If your bottle has a seal over there, take that seal off completely. Now hold the bottle the way I'm holding. One hand on the top, one on the bottom, and hold it sideways. That way you have more control on the fluid flow and there's less spillage. Start filling up the windshield washer fluid and keep at it all the way till you see it basically come all the way to the top. Now stop, put the cap back on. Put the cap back on the bottle if you have any fluid remaining in it. And if your reservoir is completely empty, it's going to take one full bottle. These bottles tend to come in a standard size of 1 gallon or 3.78 liter. So you'll need one full bottle to refill the reservoir completely. And that's about it.
Now what happens is when the engine is running, it just produces heat, right? It's burning fuel, so it gets hot. Now, you want the engine to be warm, but you don't want it to overheat. Because if it overheats, then, I mean, it just causes all sorts of problems. So you don't want any of that to happen. Now, that's where the coolant comes in. Because what the coolant does is the coolant circulates within the engine. It collects all the heat. And now the hot coolant, it goes to the radiator. It cools off and comes back in, collects more heat, goes back to the radiator, cools off, comes back in. The cycle keeps on repeating again and again. However, in this whole system, what you need is an expansion tank, because the coolant itself, as it heats up, it's going to expand. And as the name suggests, you need an expansion tank where the extra coolant can sort of just go temporarily, and then it can come back to the main cooling system. And that's what you need an expansion tank for.
Now that is your radiator pressure cap. You don't have to open it anyways, but definitely don't even try to open it when it's hot, because hot pressurized coolant is going to spray out from there and cause serious injuries. There's even a label over there warning it. Instead, what we'll do is we'll look at the line that comes from the radiator pressure cap, and that's how we're going to locate the expansion tank. Even says on it coolant. Now on the side of it, you'll see two markings, F and L. That's maximum and minimum. Fluid level should be between maximum and minimum. See, in this case, it's right there between min and max. If you're not able to see it clearly, what you can do is just rock your car left, right, and then you'll see the fluid inside slosh, the engine coolant, and that'll give you an idea of the coolant level. If you do have to top it up, you can use this Preston branded coolant. Now this coolant comes in two different forms. Either you can get this concentrate form, which is slightly cheaper, but it requires more work, because now you have to mix this concentrate with distilled water 50-50 and then add it in the reservoir. Or you can get the pre-diluted version, which is slightly more expensive, but it's a lot more convenient. You just pour it straight directly into the reservoir. And this is chemical, so do not let children near it, and read all the warning labels on it. Just pull this cap open. That's where the coolant goes. And once you're done, put it back on and press it down to secure it, and that's about it.
Now, the engine oil is the most important fluid in your car. Without engine oil, your engine's gone. It's seized up. All right, and that's a major problem. So the easiest thing you can do to make sure your engine lasts a long time is to make sure that it has proper engine oil in it, the proper quantity and the proper type of engine oil in it at all times. All right, so you definitely want to check your engine oil at least once a month. Don't wait for that warning indicator light to come on your dash. By the time it comes on, it's too late. And if you're in the middle of nowhere, you may not even have a way to go get new engine oil and top it off. So just check your engine oil level once a month at least. Now, the reason why the engine oil is so important is because if you open up that engine, you will find there's hundreds of small pieces which are so close together, working at high speeds, under high temperature, and they just keep on going on for such a long time. And the only thing that prevents the metal parts from rubbing against each other is the engine oil. All right? So that's the one thing you definitely want to make sure you are in good shape.
Now that yellow dipstick over there, that is to check the engine oil level, and that is the oil fill cap. But before we fill oil, we need to know what the correct level is, right? So let's go ahead, check the oil, and for that you'll need a piece of rag to wipe the oil off the dipstick. Now when you're checking oil, the car has to be on level flat ground, because if it's on an incline, that's going to affect the oil level on the dipstick. Also, the engine needs to be warm, because as the oil heats up, it expands, and that can affect the reading on the dipstick. Let's go ahead and get the dipstick out, wipe the oil off the dipstick, put it back in, and then we pull it out and get a fresh reading. So that's the process. But before we put it back in, let's just take a closer look at this. There are two markings on it, minimum and maximum. Oil level has to be between minimum and maximum. If it's below minimum, that means there's not enough oil and we need to add oil. If it's above maximum, that's not good either, because too much oil leads to excessive oil pressure, which leads to oil leaks over time. So that's not good either. Let's just put it back in, wait for a second and pull it out and get a fresh reading. In this case, the oil level is just below the maximum mark, which is good. We don't have to add any oil, we don't have to take out any oil. If your oil level is right at the minimum mark, it takes about 1 quart, approximately 1 liter of oil to get the oil level from minimum to maximum. Once you're done, just put the dipstick back in all the way and then push it down to secure it. And now if you did have to add oil, the way to do it is you just add a little bit oil, wait for a few seconds, check the oil level, then add some more, and then check again, and so on and so forth. So that way you don't end up over adding oil in the engine, because it's a lot more work to get excess oil out of the engine. And what type of oil do we need? It says it right there, 5W20. That's what we need to get, and that's what it should say on the bottle as well. 5W20 or 0W20, either one of them works, but the 20 part has to be the same. So open up the cap, that's where the oil goes in, and when you're done, put the cap back on and tighten it till you hear that one click. Yep, that's the one. And these bottles tend to have markings on the side that shows you the current oil level and how much oil volume is left in the bottle.
Now the transmission fluid. I'm sure you're probably wondering where the transmission fluid dipstick is. It's not like the older cars. This car, this transmission is sealed for life. So there's no dipstick for us to just go and pull it out and check the quality and the level of transmission fluid. But in reality, it's more like sealed till the warranty lasts. It's not really sealed for life for as long as you're going to keep the car. So if you're going to keep the car for a long time, what I suggest you do is every 100,000 miles or 160,000 kilometers, you can flush the fluid. There is a drain plug and there is a way to fill up the fluid. There's just no dipstick. That's about the only thing. But if you really want to just flush the fluid, you can do it. So every 100,000 miles or 160,000 kilometers, just get the transmission fluid flushed and you should be all set. Now power steering fluid. There is no power steering fluid in this car because this is not a hydraulic based. The older cars used to have a hydraulic power steering system, and hydraulic systems had fluid in it, so there was a way for you to check the fluid and make sure it was topped off, good condition, all of that. But this car has electric power steering. So the way the power steering works is there's a motor that actually helps you turn the steering. So if anyone tells you you need to get your power steering fluid flushed, there is no power steering fluid in this car. It's funny, and the reason why I even mention is because in one of my previous videos for a 2017-2018 Hyundai Elantra, which again also has electric power steering, someone mentioned that they took the car to a dealership and the dealership technician suggested that they should get a power steering fluid flush, which had made no sense to me whatsoever. And I mean, just doesn't make any sense because there is no fluid to begin with. I mean, there's no point of having fluid in it. So if you're wondering where the power steering fluid is, there is none in this car, and that's one less thing to check and worry about. And that's pretty much it.
Close the hood, first push on the hood and get load off the prop rod. Get it out of that slot there. Put it back in its place. Now lower the hood and slam it shut. Hope you found it useful. Before we go, let me give a quick shout out to Naya Motors Inc. for letting us use the car today to film the videos. They are a used car dealer here in Ottawa, Canada. Check out the link in description for their entire inventory.